Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Evolution Podcast with Mac and Jen. And today I'm going to kind of go over something that it's an interesting question that I go through and every once in a while ask members or clients, what is it that you need? Like right now, what are your needs or what do you think you need just to make sure I'm covering what needs to be done, or if I can outsource a resource from somebody I know, one of my contacts, affiliates, friends, all the different resources I have, maybe I can bring them in if it's going to help my clients get a need met. But as I do it, typically that what they say they need isn't actually what they need. And so I'm going to just kind of go through a few things like a way of reframing it and getting a better question so that you can really figure out what your needs are. So first thing that you kind of want to do is think about like, well, what do I need? And that's going to be relevant to what do you want right now? If you have a goal or a desire or you're going towards something, to look at it and say, in order for me to do X, what do I actually need? Now, this might be a relationship goal. It might be a body goal. It might be a money goal. And, who knows? It might be that you're challenged with something. It's concerning. It could be when it comes to relationship. It could be something with your kids. Like I need to know how to deal with my kids. I need to know how to deal with my boss. I need to know how to deal with a friend. I need to know how to deal with this situation. It could be an interpersonal issue, like addiction. Something that you're dealing with, where like I need to know what to do in this situation. I don't know what to do. I need to know. And so it's this I need X question that is kind of coming up. And that's what I want you guys to think about and then ask yourselves, like what do I need? If I want this, what do I need? So first thing is I want, typically, this is what I go with every time. Always know what you want. Otherwise, no one can help you get it, especially the universe or God can't do it. And you just have no real direction. So ask that question. Take a minute, pause. In order for me to get the most important thing in my life right now is this, I need this. What do I need to get it done? If you're saying, well, I need to fix my health. What do I need? I need to fix my health. So what do I need? I don't know. Maybe you don't know what you need. Maybe it's like I need to find a doctor that can tell me what's wrong, or I need to get to the gym. I need. Okay, so maybe it's money. Maybe you're in a financial situation and you want this thing, or you're trying to set out on a new venture, or you're trying to buy a house, or you're trying to cover some debt. Like, I don't know, but it's like well, I need more money, or I need this. Okay, well, in order to get more money, what do you think you need in order to get more money? Well, I need a better job. Okay, maybe. Okay. Um, if there's a problem in your relationship, like with your wife or husband or girlfriend, boyfriend, typically this is how it comes off. Well, I need him or I need her to do this. Like it's kind of a blame statement, but okay, whatever. I need them to do this. All right. We'll start with that. Um, Kids, I need them to behave. Well, maybe you need some education. I don't know. But take a second and think. The most important thing, whether it's your body, your financial situation, your relationship or a relationship, or your spirituality or your being, challenge, addiction, something that is an internal, emotional, physical thing that you're dealing with. What is it? What is your actual need? The very important question to ask when you're kind of setting up a goal, to say, okay, here's my goal, here's what I want. And then just ask yourself simply, well, what do I need to get it? What do I actually need in order to achieve this thing, XYZ? And just right there, what I've noticed when asking people, hey, what is your needs? Like if I can hand it to you right now, tell me what you need, and then I'll give it to you. And, then that should help resolve your problem. Now, you might have more than one, but typically that first initial one is going to be the biggest one, because this is what usually happens. Well, I need to go get a new job. Okay. Well, okay. In order to get a new job, what do you need? Well, I need to update my resume. Okay. Do you have a job to submit for? Well, no, I need to just to redo my resume. Well, why even bother thinking about your resume until you have something to submit it for? So what you need to do is discover if there is a job opportunity for you to make more money, or if you're trying to start a business or increase your business, I need more customers. Okay, that could be a possibility. Like there's a lot of different things, but every time when somebody says, "Well, I need this," when I think about handing it to them, I'm like, that's not going to change a damn thing. Like there's always a deeper truth to the need of what you're dealing with. And that's what I'm going to say. All right, you took a second, said, yeah, what I need is this. I really need this one thing. And let me just start with this. If no matter what it is, whether it's any area, I just want to ask you this question. Would money fix the problem that you're dealing with? Would it? So if you have a problem with your kids, okay, if you had more money, would it fix the problem? You might be thinking no, but remember, if you had more money, it would give you more time. It would give you, you could buy help, you could buy educations, you can, pay someone else to deal with half the shit that you deal with so that you can actually spend more time with your kids, so that they're more involved, whatever. You could spend money to get the proper education on what's going on with it, whether it's psychological, educational, or maybe a physical thing going on, right? Okay. So possibility like money might actually fix the need. All right. So what about spiritual? Would money help it? Well, a lot of times spiritual shit happens in a negative way because of scarcity. Right? When there's scarcity, we tend to isolate, disconnect from God. We quit asking God and we try to control it. And we think we're in charge and we have to do it. And we put all the pressure on ourselves. And that leads to usually dark places. So if you had the money, then a lot of times, you know, you could operate in a different way. Okay, relationships, same thing. If you have an issue with your relationship, do you think it would make a difference if you had extra money to go around and you had more time to give to the relationship or more ways to educate yourself? I mean, one of the best programs there are for relationships is Tony Robbins' Day with Destiny. It's one of the best programs. You go in person, you're looking at 10 grand, right? So let's say you spend 10, $20,000 in education about learning about relationships and everything else. And all of a sudden you figure out like, oh man, this is like a few small changes of adjusting the way you do things. And all of a sudden everything begins to work. So it's a real question of like, would money fix your problem? Now, if your problem is money, then it's obvious money would fix your problem, but it probably doesn't actually have to do with money, does it? Probably has to do with your emotional state that led you to a place of needing more money, like you're overspending or you overspent, which was an emotional decision that you have to address and deal with. Or there's scarcity. Scarcity with money is just a decision to let go of things so that you no longer have scarcity of money. So money won't actually fix that problem for you. Addressing the emotional baggage around money is the actual problem. And typically people that, one of the things about very wealthy people, a lot of times the reason they make a lot of money is make money actually out of desperation, not out of abundance mindset or anything else. They do it out of a desperation, which causes them to go like to drill in and just make shit happen at a rapid pace. So you got to look at this and say, what do I actually need? What's the deeper question? Like, why are my behaviors operating in the way that they're operating? Is it really me thinking that the need that I have is this? So without being able to go one-on-one and actually go through this where, one-on-one, I can go very fast. So the people in the membership get results really fast because it's very fast to go, okay, well, if I were to give you this, this is probably what you would do. Is that correct? Yes. Okay. So that's really not the need. So what about this need? What about this? And they're like, yes, that would actually make a difference. And we bounce back and forth. And then it's like, okay, what's an action that you will take? They take an action, they get a result. We move on to the next step. And that's how it works. So within this, I'm just kind of going to give you guys some like free coaching in a sense, but it's kind of going to be up to you on the ability to check yourself and not stay stuck in this story. So you kind of got to let go of any predetermined thoughts that you think of as far as this is what you need, and kind of go into a neutral space of self coach and ask yourself some questions. So you look at what you want. Okay, I want this. What I believe, say this out loud. What I believe I need is, and you know what it is. Now say that's what it is. And say these things out loud to yourself and just kind of think about what I need is, well, what I need is a bunch of money to pay off my debt. Okay. That's a probably a valid need. Okay, let's recognize that first. Then move on to the next thing of saying, okay, if you paid that off, what created it in the first place? What actually created that? Now, relationship might say the same thing. What created the situation that I'm in the first place that required me to need this need? And do a little self-investigating to say, well, the reason I'm in debt is X. You might want to say the reason I'm in debt is because of so and so, or because I bought a car and it broke down and now I got to pay for it. Well, whose fault is that? Personal responsibility is going to expose you in this, and a lot of you aren't going to like it. But the truth is, as soon as you point the finger at somebody else and say they did it, or this happened, or some excuse, some justification, you're relinquishing control of your ability to manifest and create. And right in that basically tells you the need of, well, let's back up. First thing I need to do is take personal responsibility for everything. If I spent money and over leveraged myself, that's my fault. How do I set myself up to not over leverage? So what I need to do is create a lifestyle that allows me the abundance of extra cash flow, that I no longer have this need for money, because now I'm not over leveraged. Now I'm over prepared. So now there's always an abundance. I have more than enough all the time. It's not abundance in money isn't about how much money you make. It's about how much money you have left over after you made or spent whatever you have. That's the fascinating thing. So if you have a little money and you create more than what you spend, that's abundance. And if you get that programmed in, that lifestyle programmed in, then you can continue to grow and grow and grow. And that's what turns into wealth. So challenge is you have an emotional lifestyle that you feed off of. And what you really need is to address that emotional lifestyle, figure out what the cost is if you don't change it, the pain that it's going to be created if you continue on the path you're going, and what must happen for you to redirect and do something in a different, better way. So that's a financial piece. If it's a relationship and if you point the finger, you got to back up and say personal responsibility. This person would typically not respond to me in this way if it wasn't for me, because they have no reason to respond in this way if I did not exist. True statement. You might say, well, they respond this way to somebody else. Well, it doesn't matter. I'm not fucking talking about somebody else. I'm talking about you. When you show up a certain way, people respond to you in such a way. Now, like I said, would money fix this problem? Like a majority of the time, if somebody has a healthy money situation, they typically have a pretty good relationship situation, unless they've never learned how to properly hold or value relationship, in which case the needs are actually going to be much different. The needs are going to be actual, more like feeling safe, because if you don't feel safe, you behave in kind of bad ways, and you will typically not tell the truth to the person you're with. So again, well, I need them to stop doing XYZ or whatever. I need them to know that, to quit yelling at me or quit fighting with me over this while I'm taking care of blah, 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 blah. Like, okay, great. Okay. Well, maybe you need to get really honest with them and tell them from a vulnerable space of how you actually feel and what's going on with you internally, so that they can match with you and become and understand, like they understand with you. Because typically in human nature isn't such that if someone truly knows the truth about your situation, they will probably feel what you feel, and they won't attack you. They will feel like you and they will understand you. And then you can feel safe inside of that. And then you no longer have a problem because now it's exposed. Maybe not. Money might fix it though. Money might not fix it. It's a go to the deeper conversation in your health and in your body. If you have a challenge or you want to change something, a lot of times money could help because, stress doesn't help the body much. Maybe not. You could pay for a personal trainer, possibly, but it also might not fix it. So if you think money would fix it, the next question would be, do you think this is an emotional problem that you have? You created it, personal responsibility. You created the situation. Now you might be able to say, well, you don't understand because I have this hormonal imbalance, or I have Graves' disease, or I have this, or I have that. Okay, as long as you're going to hang on to that, you're going to keep it. The reality is there's a lot of ways to reverse a lot of negative things in the body, and science is pretty amazing. There's different ways. There's a detox process that I do with my clients that helps reverse hormonal shit, as far as like, Graves' disease, diabetes, all these different things. Like these are reversible issues. They're genetic, but but you can turn them off and on. And so if you make an excuse for it, you get to keep it. If you take personal responsibility for it, you go, there's got to be a way. Let me figure it out. And part of that might be that you were emotionally eating. And so you ate everything, and even the toxic foods, the not good foods, the everything else, and it's got things screwed up in your system. Okay, maybe we need to address the emotional situation. What is causing you the emotional situation? Which is it? Which process, or where's the pain at? And this is a requirement for you to actually stop worrying about what anybody else is thinking and just dive into the feelings and saying, what are the feelings that I don't want to feel? Most of you won't go there. I'm just going to be honest. You won't take the time to go there. You'll listen to this. You'll think, yeah, that's a good idea, and you'll just go right on by. It's probably only the people that actually go one-on-one with me, where I get to ask them pointed questions and make them uncomfortable, that they get to actually get to a core something and address it, and then begin to change in the process. So most likely, if that's you, just start kind of saying, I want to get better. I'm not sure how, but I want to get better. I'm not sure how, but I want to get better. And so you just kind of need to convince yourself that this is what you need to do. And you don't need to know how. In fact, almost saying, I don't know how yet, but this is what I do want. And I'm not really going to put pressure on myself. I'm just going to keep my eyes open to whatever it is. And usually you'll manifest some kind of random solution that you won't even realize is happening until it's already started to take process. So it can be kind of interesting, but it's going to turn on it's going to activate your reticular activating system to start seeing things a little different just by saying a few words. And the personal part of, like, if you have a spiritual or being issue, yeah, money might help or whatever, but the truth, like, the reality is like, what if you had nothing to run from? What if everything, like, in any darkness inside of you, was out? What if you were forgiven? What if everybody already knew, and you're like feeling shame, but everybody already knows and they don't care? So it's this story of you're dealing with a lot of internal battles and challenges. You've isolated. You don't even know how to really communicate it clearly because it doesn't make sense, or at least you don't think it's going to make sense to people. So you'd rather just not talk about it and just leave it off the table. So that's again, that's one of those spaces where you probably need somebody like me that can actually go in and just ask very direct questions and not really give a shit. No judgment. Just kind of say, well, what's this? Why is this? Why is this? Why is this? And I'm just discovering what's what without really any emotion, because I get it. Like, I've been there, I've done it. Like, who cares? And when you're in that space and that energy with direct questions, it's uncomfortable when you're getting asked, but when you realize I don't react over it, it's like not a big deal. Like, what's the problem? Okay, now moving on. So, like, yeah, you've done all that. Well, what's your objective? And it just helps you go move through the process. So typically, almost everything everybody deals with is emotional, but you gotta take some physical action to help you to emotionally shift through it. That's kind of the easy way to do it. A lot of times with relationships, if a guy just starts working out consistently, guy and women, if you start working out consistently, the discipline of working out actually will solve a lot of the problems in a relationship because it gives you more confidence. It also solves a lot of problems if you're in a job or a work position, because more confidence makes a massive difference. And in your body, obviously, more confidence is going to help you feel better, less stress, all those different things. So it's a really key factor of, maybe you say, okay, what's the need that you have? Let me ask you a question. Would more confidence help you move forward in your goal? Can't really imagine anybody saying no. So it might be something to consider. I'm saying, well, maybe I just need a simple, small 5-minute workout every day just to give me a boost of confidence, just to stick to it, create a plan, and just do it. Boom, 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 boom. And the energetic principles of doing something daily with a discipline, like a ruthless discipline, even the times when you don't want to do it, it has a very powerful effect. In fact, there's studies showing that when you really, really don't want to do something, but you do it anyway, it actually like it activates or grows your pituitary gland. I can't remember exactly, but something like that. So it's very prominent. Those times when you're like, I don't want to do it or anything else, you're like, fine, I'm going to do it. But you hold that discipline. It has so many energetic benefits to it that you just kind of move through it and continue through it. So um, just consider that this isn't so much of a podcast as just something to kind of stimulate some thoughts for you, to ask yourself some questions, to kind of go, what is it that I really need here? And is that true? Well, I need this. Okay. Is that what you really needed? Is it true? If you had that, what would be the next need? What might that look like? And if you had that, what might the next need look like? And kind of walk yourself through a few questions, but also flip it on yourself to say, if I say I need money, do I actually need something in my spiritual being? Do I need forgiveness, or maybe it's your body or your relationship? What do you actually need? You know, and so whatever you think you need, look at the opposite and say, do I need this as much? Like, would this actually make a bigger impact than this? And so it's a personal investigation of figuring out, could you get more easier? There's probably an easier way. Every time I've asked anybody these questions, I always get to a different answer than the one they gave me. So it's pretty much 100% chance that whatever you think you need isn't actually what you need. But if you challenge yourself on your needs, you'll come up with a better answer and move and take action in it easier and quicker. And that's what we're looking for. So hope this helps. And just leave it at that. If you guys have any questions or want to reach out, you can reach out to Jen or myself. And remember that Jen has a call with women. That's a women's only call, usually on a Wednesday. But you can reach out for her if you're a woman listening to this and you want to know what that looks like. It's, the women's secrets on how to get what you want from a man or be more feminine or whatever, kind of really access that power that only you guys have. Massive benefits that you get to actually talk to somebody that truly, one, believes in the power of feminine energy and has accessed it and does access it. And this is the type that really fuels a man. Okay, like you can get what you want by accessing this kind of energy. So you've got that, and then on Thursdays we do our membership call where you get a little interaction. We're still pretty small at the time, so sometimes there's a few more people than other people, but it's not a lot of people. So it gives me a real opportunity right now to really be able to interact with people and ask some direct questions and walk people through some things. And so there's a real advantage to starting now because, as time goes and we grow, we're not going to get access to this. It's going to be very surface level information. And our one-on-one clients or our executive groups are going to be the ones that we focus all of our attention on. So we've got that. And then I usually do a men's call after that a couple times, first and third weeks of the month. And then obviously we've got our high level and then our one-on-ones. So you might be in a position where you're like, I need some custom tuning. I need some custom attention for myself. And so that's where you'd reach out and say, hey, can I have a consult with you with the potential that maybe I can hire you and help out. So that's all you got to do is you just send a message saying, hey, I would like to have a conversation about the potential of hiring Jen or Mac or whatever. And you can have that question. And so please do that. And if you haven't subscribed, make sure you're subscribing And then if you have any comments or want to share, light it up in the chat or the questions or comments and let us know what you think. All right. So have a wonderful time. We'll see you guys next week.